Hello, my name is Ekram Kaya and I am a freshman majoring in computational and data sciences at George Mason University. The project we are presenting today was conducted by my partner and I, Luke Palmieri, along with the help of Gary Prathap, Alex Korb, and our mentors Salto Karahan and Hamdi Kawak, through a joint effort of George Mason University, Old Dominion University, and Tidewater Community College. Our project is titled Investigating Disinformation Through the Lens of Mass Media, and the goal of this project is to create a software system to study disinformation efforts in mass media to address the national safety concerns arising from an increasing number of states using digital tools and media to distort facts and shape public perception in creating anti-American views. Our main dataset included two of the largest circulated newspapers in Turkey, Sabah and Hürriyet. Of Turkish media outlets, many have ties to the government and publish only under governmental supervision. Other sources included Fars, a direct mouthpiece of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. We were able to extract over 80,000 articles to store in an SQL database and translate to English.
The problem with identifying these changing views towards the U.S. is that traditional sentiment analysis is often poor in identifying the opinions found in mass media, which is often less explicit or suffers from implicit bias or negative framing towards actors rather than explicit opinions found on social media. The proposed methodology we have outlined in our system sidesteps these concerns by using target-based sentiment analysis, the goal of which is to identify a target within a sentence that can then be classified according to its sentiment polarity. For example, I love X but hate Y, and the goal would be to classify the polarity towards X in the sentence, which would be positive. But if you use the traditional method, it may classify the entirety of the sentence as neutral, which is not good for our goal because we want to find the sentiment towards a particular target, i.e. the US within a sentence. We have, to the best of our knowledge, been the first to apply a state-of-the-art model on target-based sentiment analysis trained on mass media that was developed specifically for mass media and used it for temporal sentiment analysis. The first part of the process involves storing and collection of the data. We collected from some of the large circulation newspapers in Turkey. Then we tokenized the sentences so they can be used in the next step, the TBSA, to extract targets and compare by sentences. This could be done using named entity recognition to generate a list of targets. In this case, we used a keyword of the USA, which we then plugged into the GRU-TSC model to generate the class polarity of neutral, negative, or positive towards the target within a sentence. Then we can calculate the sentiment score, an average of positive or negative, and the total number of positive and negative sentences towards our target over time. Then we have found the results towards a case study of S400 articles. We specifically selected articles related to this to test our event-based TVSA. We found at the height of the controversy of S400 missile system, which the U.S. was concerned when Turkey bought the missile system from Russia that it might undermine NATO, that when the U.S. imposed sanctions against Turkey, the negative sentiment peaked and it was highly negative towards the U.S. the whole time. This finding was unexpected in our approach, but it affirms that our method could be useful to understand geopolitical crises. The results of differing perception of publishers in the same subset of S400 topic shows that extreme negative sentiment differed a little bit via different publishers with different ideological backgrounds, and that news focused solely on market news was less negative ratio between positive and negative sentence. It must be noted that all the publishers suffer from potential barriers and censorship from the government. Another benefit of our system is it allows us to further finely grainedly analyze the publisher sentiment and how it changes over time for different publishers. This showed even though the sentiment was highly negative, its spike around the time of sanctions was completely different for subset of publishers from Iran. For example, the Fars news group that is directly connected to the Revolutionary Guard Corps in Iran and it basically spreads propaganda and misinformation at times. It peaked in negative sentiment around 2019 when Iran was involved in trying to purchase the S-400 missile system from Russia and ratcheting up tensions against the U.S. This finding showed that rather than there being a single anti-American line, there are a diverse array of anti-American actors within the Turkish news ecosystem. Our system allows us to understand where misinformation is being spread and where the sentiment is changing over time and to further diversify the understandings of where that sentiment is coming from. As of yet, we have not seen this system analysis applied within international relations work and using these state-of-the-art models for mass media that we have applied. Future work could use larger multiple targets using named entity extraction in order to create a larger mapping of perceptions of actors within Turkish mass media or other environments. Some limitations, eventually the model could be improved to be more multidimensional from what it is, applying the method to more topics using unsupervised learning rather than explicitly identifying articles mentioning a certain topic and unsupervised learning, or potentially comparing those measures to compare the change within different topics over time. and thank you for your time.